Dragon Ball. I put three documents in the chat to support.
Okay. Right after
the Dragon Ball. And I just want to respond. I think it is to whoever would
go back to Pro.
Wait. Right after the Dragon Ball. Let's get right back to it. I just got to hear his Dragon Ball comment. What do you get about Dragon Ball, John? And we'll go to that.
Well,
what are we gonna say about Dragon Ball?
The cartoon, you know, if you've watched it and enjoyed it, it's a little bit like having a mental health disorder because nothing ever actually happens. Meaning that like the show, it just leaves you hanging every single time, and then it's the same boy who cried wolf every single time. So I don't know. You can go back to Benjamin now to your regularly scheduled annoying programming. This annoying person is complete.
I could have gone with that. Nothing does ever happen, and he's indestructible, and no matter what you do, he's going to tell another day, and so will his son, and all that stuff.
All right, I'll do. We got Agamemnon in the audience.
I want to get back to
the
this
Seinfeld of
was it Anders was saying when he goes to the doctor, he only pays $35. Yeah. Now, Anders pays some taxes, of course, so it's not like he doesn't pay anything. But
actually, too much, Benjamin. To be honest,
and it looks like Europeans pay about $10,000 a year to cover some of these costs, on average, right? And the U.S. taxpayer pays about $20,000.
Whatever you're snapping there, Aisha, is we're hearing it.
To cover a basket of costs that include.
I'd rather hear that than listen to Benjamin talk.
Hey, Benjamin, I have a question for you. If you don't mind.
Just a second, Anders, and I don't know what part of my sentence got in the way of yours, but try to negotiate.
Yeah, three people was talking at the same time.
Yeah. So anyway, the point is that the United States taxpayers pays twice as much for healthcare and defense of the entire world, and the healthcare for the entire world, so that we don't have epidemics that invariably leak into developed countries coming from Africa and other places in the world where we have to spend money to keep epidemics at a minimum, right? So America is protecting the European from global pandemics and with the global defense, and paying for 70% of R&D research on medicine, so that when a medicine is sold in Europe, it is sold for 30 cents on the dollar. So you're only paying for 30 cents.
Well,
Benjamin
from the United States, this does not come on the European market.
So the consequence, as I said earlier,
I just wanted to ask
the reason Europe has health care for so cheap is because the U.S. taxpayers are paying for it. So don't pretend
that's
it's free.
fine. If you want to
cost the U.S.
over
a
that
ton of money for
conspiracy
Europe to
theory,
have free health care.
I just wanted to ask you.
Thank you. By the way,
how does 36% taxes sound to you? I'm not saying it's wrong or right or whatever. That's an actual number from Norway. Like,
it's not taxes.
36% of your salary every month goes to taxes.
Europeans are not taxed anything.
And now, by the way, Benjamin, just by the way,
more benefits than they are taxed.
And by the way,
we do this all in America. We tell you about our system.
They're paying into a system from which they get very little benefit.
Okay,
by the way,
so I guess I benefit from that system. But can we have a dialogue, a monologue?
Not when he's on a monologue roll. He can't slow down.
Okay, so Benjamin, so now in May, I will.
The problem is
it's on Super Saiyan right now.
You haven't put any documents, you haven't put any scholarship into the chat, so you don't really haven't earned the opportunity
because
to review.
I'm simply speaking from my own position, meaning like whatever I earned last year in 2025, the total amount, like don't think about taxes, just what I earned last year, the full 12% of that total salary, I will get paid now this month for vacation money. Every year, Norwegians get 10 to 12% of their full salary from the last year, just free fucking money to have a great vacation. And I'm going on 8 weeks paid, 6 weeks paid
Okay, but do you do like?
And also, when we get tax returns, by the way, since the 90s, it has all been automatic. We never do the manual labor. Not only that.
Hello?
Let's say I pay too much taxes. I not only get that in return, but the government actually have, like, by law, fines, meaning they are getting fined a shit ton of money. So not only do I get what I was taxed too much each month, but I also get, like, here's a band-aid.
Okay.
So we're paying a lot of taxes. I agree, but we don't have potholes. We don't have homeless people.
I'll take that.
When people lose their
I'll take
job,
that too.
when people lose their job, they get, like, at least $800 to $1,200, approximately the same equivalent to $1,200 every month. Also, meaning the rent wherever you live will get paid, and you also get up till $1,200, if not more.
Yeah, but
That
that's
is only for as long as you basically want, and you can't get fired from your job in Norway in the same way as in America. If you lose your job, at least you have a month that your employer has to keep you, or in most cases, 2 months.
Anders,
So again, Benjamin, what is wrong about the North?
Anders, I think I understand your system, and I'm going to come at it at a different angle. I think there's something like 8.5 million Norwegians in the entire country.
Sorry, come again. I didn't hear you. You said
there's something like 8.5 million Norwegians.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I was about to say approximately 7 or something.
I live in Texas. I'm not in Texas right now. I'm in Florida, but Florida's very similar. There's more than 20 million Texans that you guys have with the North Sea, a ton of mineral wealth that you really only have to divide. And by the setup of your country, I wish my country was as prudent with the mineral resource wealth. You're just splitting it between 9 million people.
Correct.
And there is something to Benjamin's point of view is that external to your country, a lot of R&D allows for socialization of those costs that allow for, including the peace after World War II, that is allowed, and in international trade that is, at least up until the last year or so, the open seas allow for a ton of trade. So we had different countries paying into different systems, different amounts, but I agree with Bernie Sanders. We basically pay twice what you guys do, and we get half the results. To reconcile that and say that, Norway's, not lucky in geography to have mineral wealth and only a few people there. But it's just, we kind of have to put it into a global perspective. Is America has all these different regions that come on the same balance sheet for our federal system. And so we've got inter-regional fights and things that I don't know if a smaller nation that has a ton of natural resource wealth really can be compared to America. It's like comparing Norway to all of Europe.
You can't.
It's really challenging.
You're right.
Right, and you should.
You're right.
And I have to agree when it comes to, especially after the Second World War. So let's say from 45 to 1972. 1972 or 1952, where when the Norwegian and the British government decided where the line in the North Sea would be, where we can look for oil and where they can look for oil. And for some stupid reason, I guess Norwegians knew about the oil wells. But like, if you look at the line, you can see that all the oil wells landed on our side of that line. So from 1972, we have a welfare fund that is like 2.2 trillion US dollars that is just laying there marinating for whatever going to happen in the future. We can stay alive for centuries. Like you said, we're only like 7-8 million people here. So $2.2 trillion in our welfare fund, which means everybody in Norway and a Norwegian citizen's bank account fund.
Yeah, but you still only eat fish.
Hey, the Russians are actually stealing a lot of our fish, and we're kicking
The
them
problem is
out of the North Sea or the back.
your reproduction rate is only 1.2 per female. So you're basically going to die off in about 100 years. So
No, but you're right. You're right, and it's a problem. Meaning, like,
no. Here's what you should do.
I'm not on the market, but the dating market in Norway is like, hey, meet up. You want to fuck? But yeah, but I don't want it. I don't want any kids. That's just how it is, unfortunately. I understand, Benjamin, but like.
Well, Benjamin, we can't rely on them. Gotta move to another country.
How about you, Benjamin, make a case for something and then I try to rebut it? Because all you have been doing is like, oh, your country is so bad.
My hope for
your
America
country's so bad. And then I tell you why it's not so bad.
I mean, my hope for America is what it's always been. I think it's the hope I hope we all share.
I can
We
reflect
want it to
it
continue to be
in
the
my
place
own
where anyone from anywhere can achieve
just
anything.
look on YouTube
Where you're not limited by
and see videos from Norway, how we live.
I think that if you're going on a vacation and you travel to some place nice and you're on the beach and you meet somebody from America, you should think
circumstances of your birth.
taxes that are required to you.
I'm the leader of the Fraud Task Force.
That's the thing.
Pay for your
Hilarious.
I have to admit that I don't have a personal experience, but from what I hear from everyone is
A
that
Walgreens store in Chicago in the Chatham neighborhood
Americans
is
come to
We'll tell you.
Norway on vacation. They're so loud. When they're talking, it's like they're yelling. And they're like just crossing the street like they're owning the freaking road. I mean, it's so obnoxious. That is what I hear from people in Norway, Denmark, Finland, Sweden when Americans come here. Hey, Benjamin, have you heard about her name? She goes by Promise or Eve on YouTube. She's an American living in Finland at the moment. She's mostly on the YouTube channel called The Line with Jimmy Snow and probably Matt Dillahunty and all those guys. Biologists like Valkai, what was it, Forrest Valkai?
Is that over the last
so
hour,
you can check out Eve.
Loud and obnoxious person in the room.
She's an American living in the Nordics,
from America.
explaining how
numerically you might just find that that's not the case. But look, if somebody sees somebody who's loud, they're probably more likely to remember it and tell stories about it. And look, I know it's a lot to ask an American to tell America thank you for coming to Europe and risking your from the Nazis. But if you have time and you're not too busy, say thanks every once in a while. We save the world, we pay for the world's healthcare and defense, and we don't ask for a lot in return. But a thank you might be nice sometimes.
What do you mean by that, Benjamin?
We fund the global war. That's another way of saying that same thing.
Like, to a certain degree, I would agree with you, Benjamin, that I think it was in 1948, 49, you have NATO, and this is kind of weird because the very first conversation I had with someone on Clubhouse was a woman that denied that Norway was a part of NATO, meaning like Norway was one of the founding nations of NATO. But anyways, she was just ignorant. Yes, Article 5. You guys have got given us a lot of safety over the years. But now, when Donald Trump, for the second term or time, is in the White House, you can see all over Europe. We're making what is it called? Like contracts with other nations, like China, even is now having a contract and collaboration with Ukraine simply because of the drone technology and the fiber optics and all that shit. That, by the way, that is something that I'm very knowledgeable about. That what is going on in Ukraine. If anybody want to have a conversation about that. But anyway. The point here is that so many countries in Europe, like Germany, Belgium, Italy, France, they are now making how do you say it in English? Like not military, but like arms deals with other nations than the U.S. Do you know why recently? Because the U.S. don't have any stockpile left. Do you know why? Because they flew them all across the Middle East just now the last 2 months. So you guys don't have anything to sell anymore. So Norway, a small town called Kongsberg, like Kongsberg in Norway, is like one of the largest manufacturers of ammunition, munition, and weaponry.
Yeah,
and of course,
Anders, let me just kind of step in. If we take the opposite of what you're saying, it might be true that the reason we won't give anything to Ukraine was because Trump didn't want to support Ukraine, was taking Russia's side, and by firing all these off for Netanyahu's purposes, he can now argue, you guys are on your own, and finish his plan to get out of NATO. So it's not that we don't have anything left. It's that it serves the use to say we don't have anything for you guys. It's not that we don't have anything for ourselves.
And I stand corrected.
It's how he works. He starts with how he can fuck over his ally, and then maybe think about how it helps or hurts the U.S. Right?
Yeah, I will be more careful about my wording because you're correct by correcting me.
The worst position a person can be in very often is to be the person who
agrees with me,
thinks that they're Donald Trump's friend.
Yeah.
The fact that Donald Trump has made Putin his friend might just be the end of the Russian project. Point that out. I mean, there isn't any friend to Donald Trump.
He's not his friend. He's just working as if Trump Putin owns him. He's not even his friend. He's just Putin's work.
Here they
Donald Trump doesn't know what it's like to be a friend. Donald Trump doesn't know what it's like to be a friend or have a friend. I don't know what's your model you use?
There is no friend of Donald Trump in the United States.
Yeah. I want to be honest. I think that Donald Trump is probably playing everybody, including Putin. And to the extent that you think he's siding up to Putin, Donald Trump doesn't have it in him to side up to Putin.
Hey, Donald Trump is running circles around himself in a way that if you just look at what he's on the lawn of the White House, about to enter a helicopter. Some journalists are asking him a question. He says, yeah, within the next 2 weeks. And then you have the exact same scenario. He's about to go into a freaking helicopter. 2 weeks later, they ask the same question. And he says, like, yeah, within the next 2 weeks. Donald Trump is a dilapidated, crazy, nonsense guy. I mean, I don't have anything just positive to say about Biden when it comes to his mental state either. It's just that some people are just blind to what Donald Trump is showing.
But fair enough. I just want to say this, Andrew, for you. If by the grace of God, 100 years from now, Norway is not an Islamic hellhole or an extension of the Russian Orthodox movement, or it's speaking Chinese, it will be because an American soldier did something. promise you that. It won't be because a French soldier did something. The French
Can
never
you
protected
start
anybody
over?
from anybody.
Because you actually lost me there. Like when you said that soldier.
If by the grace of God,
What?
if by the grace of God, Norway, your country, is not one of those countries where all the women wear a burqa in 100 years. And it's not some adjunct to the Russian project where you're all Eastern Russian Orthodox Christians. Or you're not some kind of extension of China. It will only be because of an American soldier. And you don't appreciate it. It won't be because of a soldier in Norway. You're not going to protect yourself from these things. 8 million people, and probably you couldn't protect your way out of a paper bag and never have. The only reason Norway is a free country that is making up its own decisions is because the United States has defended that project for you.
I mean, if you want to cradle yourself with that pacifying thought, sure, go ahead. I don't feel that blanket, to be honest. It actually might be, Benjamin, that the United States of America is holding up the whole rest of the world. That might be, Benjamin, but I don't feel that warmth from that blanket. Where's the blanket?
Well, we lived in the Cold War.
That's called an iron carpet, not a blanket.
Was based upon mutually assured destruction. Yeah, from the NATO with those with nuclear weapons, and obviously USSR at the time. Now it's obviously changed. And I think it's a good thing that we actually have our own defence capability as a European entity, for sure. I do. Well, we will. Thank you very much, America. But the thing is, the UK has always thanked America. It really has. And we have been to war with you. And what is sad is the fact that Trump will go, yeah, but the Brits stayed at the back, which obviously he subsequently apologised for. But in Afghan, our area of operation was Helmand Province, was one of the most violent areas. Denmark, the irony, per soldier, had the highest casualty rate of deaths. So we're all being bitchy to each other. We're actually fucking, come on. There are bigger issues in the world, aren't there? And we need to step up and spend more on our own defence. I totally agree with that. But at the same time, Trump and Benjamin, we've all thought maybe he knows something we don't know. Maybe he's playing everybody and we just don't get it. Everybody's thought that, but I don't think that's the truth anymore. Do you really? You've lost 5 right.
Can I respond to that by pointing out a couple of just simple, cruel facts? Israel is a tiny little country. I don't know, maybe there are 4 million people in the country, half the size of Norway. Their military is capable of pulling off that people in Norway couldn't dream up if they were writing sci-fi novels. They have cell phones, pagers, that they catch them in the transit, they add bombs to them when they're distributed to the terrorists, they blow up the terrorists. Shit, you can't even think of, you're out there in Norway trying to put together a hobby drone. Like you've never seen technology in your lives. The French, when they were defending Europe against the expanse of the Nazis, lasted, was it 2.5 days? The French basically is just a stack of dominoes. They just lean over and fall like a nothing burger. You think Norway is going to stand against anything?
Yeah. Can I give you an example, Benjamin, if I may? So
Well,
let's
I
say,
mean,
let,
come on, but what I'm
let's
saying is, wait a minute. How many terrorists has Norway killed in the last 10 years? Yeah, I'll give you the answer because it's real easy to look up. The answer is 0.
no,
Now,
actually
Israel is.
one in 2021.
Oh, boy, we got to talk
There
about
was
that
a-
a whole lot.
No, a guy had a 9mm and like an AR type of rifle, and he actually shot and killed a lot of people. Yeah, in the downtown center of Oslo. Yeah, 2021. I think maybe 2022. To be honest, yeah, I think it's what.
So Israel is.
But that's not my point, Benjamin. I want to say something and hear your response.
Do you think there are bad people in the world?
Yeah, definitely. So,
Okay, do you think bad people are afraid of Norway or more afraid of Norway or Israel?
Wow, actually now I forgot what I was going to ask you about. What did you say earlier?
Bad people are more afraid of Norway or Israel?
I'm trying to remember what you said earlier that I had a
I'm
question
trying to remember
about.
what y'all are talking about. It's pretty boring, but
Yeah, I agree. That's the thing, Pro, is that I'm trying to stop Benjamin to either myself make a point that he can engage with, or he, as he do, make a statement, and I want to stop him, and I want to engage with that statement, but Benjamin is not allowing anyone to engage with him back and forth.
well, to be fair, Anders, you've been talking for like an hour or so. You know, he's probably trying to walk you down a little bit or something. But not that Benjamin hasn't been talking for an hour.
Now, what?
Well,
Memory.
I'm not exactly sure. My eyeballs are hurting looking at the screen of you guys talking so long. But it's just,
Why are you watching the screen?
Yeah, I mean,
I pay a lot of attention to your facial flares and
I remember now.
My facial flares, like you can see my face as I'm
looking at you at
speaking.
noon, both with your hands on your face. And, you know, looking at
See, look,
Elliot
none went
Gavin.
away. None went away because she doesn't think
Andrew is
that's
focused.
right.
I'm focused. Benjamin's got his bunny there. And T's got his bunny cat.
Elliot is dabbing.
I said that already.
Okay. Just making sure. I don't want you to miss Elliot dabbing.
Yeah,
Well, maybe more so Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
It's
I'm a
dabbing?
real American.
Oh, is that a weed thing? Tell me you've not heard that. Yeah. You've not heard that? Oh my gosh, actually, he doesn't know what it is.
It's okay. Elliot is okay.
Yeah, so
He's still on the good side.
He's making a drug joke reference. Subject. I don't know, but
Hi, Jen. Hey.
Want the Milligan Bill? I was working on footwork here while listening to you guys, staring at you all intently.
You're weird.
Victoria's late to the party. Victoria, attendance was taken like 2 hours ago. You weren't here, but you can do makeup.
We can do makeup in the space.
Work. Father.
No. Stop it, Professor. Stop it.
Barb has been here listening to this chit chat of Anders and Benjamin, but you know, it was productive. Learned about Norwegian culture a little bit.
Professor, I really thought that you were going to allow us to do makeup.
Simon's affection for the king.
God save the king.
Keeping the king as they've done. Keeping him alive. What's up, Victoria?
Hello. Yeah, I was hoping we could do some makeup too.
Oh yeah.
Like a little halo eye or something.
Let's do it. I'm down.
If you had to do makeup for me, what would you do? Because I seem to be lacking a little color in my photo. What could you do to help me out? I probably need more than color on the picture. I'm sure.
You're looking a little pale. I feel like you've lost a little rust there.
The thing that I would do for most men is I would prep first, make sure the skin is healthy, make sure it's moisturized, and add a little bit of sheen. I think a lot of men have dull skin because they don't exfoliate as much as they should, and they could look much more youthful if they just did that. So I would start there.
The tip is hyaluronic acid. That's the tip. And Pro knows this.
I do know this.
I actually think I had a set, like, it was like 10 different things, and the one you mentioned, I think, was one of them. And is it like...
You don't need 10
is it like an... No, that was just a false, what do you call it, like a series of like products. I was given it for free from a friend of mine. But one of them was actually like blood, like red blood cells. Wow. It was crazy.
Yeah, we heard about some of those stories here in the U.S. Some obsessed parents.
Otter said, in honor of doing makeup, I will change BRB. Otter, you're an otter. What are we doing? Why do we have a squirrel eating a otter? Oh my.
Oh, otter's bad.
That's a little. That's very carnivore.
Otters are carnivores. Well, they're omnivores.
Well, the squirrel is a carnivore in the picture. Contrast that with Benjamin's.
I'm not sure that's what's happening there. It could be a trick picture there.
I mean, I thought the rabbits were cute until I saw my own rabbit as a kid eat a rodent. So, I mean, yeah.
I mean, they are rodents.
Nature is not.
Is a rabbit a rodent? Does that qualify?
Yeah, kind of, actually. I don't think like taxidermically, but
I'm not interested in all the details. I just want to know if I can call it a rodent and get away with it.
No.
But does I know you're pro lyric, I think, and Elliot as well. But does anyone here on stage like believe?
I'm going to speak for everybody here. Everybody here maybe believes in God.
Like maybes?
Or everybody here doesn't. Or everybody does. It's one of those. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I used to have a profile picture that said everything in the universe is either a duck or not a duck, and that is true.
I'm open to prospect.
But that's just what you said. Like you're either or, sure. But so I'm not a believer. I never adopted the belief in a God. I grew up in a partially Christian Protestant family, but if there's an afterlife, if the Bible is true on the supernatural statements, if it is true, I would like to adopt that belief. And I'm 4 years into Clubhouse, and I would like to hear a coherent.
Well, this might not be the best place for it. I mean, I can't speak for Jay. Can't really speak for Simon. I feel pretty confident that I know Victoria T. and Benjamin's stance. Aisha's is a little, maybe less.
What's our stance? Our stance on what?
God?
The God belief.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
I can play tic-tac-toe in this room right now and get a win if I go diagonally.
If I may, Victoria.
Sure. Elliot, I know
do you believe a God?
No. No, I don't.
Okay, same here.
It's a no in the diagonal spaces for sure. Simon is a believer in the magisteria. What do you call it, Simon? You were already what? What's the term you used? A majestic? What is it?
The monarchy.
Monarchy. Yeah, but you didn't call it a monarchy. You call it a monarchist. That's it.
But yeah,
so
I am a monarchist.
that means you're okay with God, right?
Oh no. I mean, I've got one grandfather who was a Methodist minister, and another grandfather who was Jewish. I am now all over the place. I'm not a big religion God fan.
I'm going to speak for CM. I'm going to say CM is solidly in the no camp. You get solid. Benjamin is super solid now. He's a solid now. Victoria's a solid now. CM's a solid now. Elliot's pretty solid now. Those are your really, really solid no's.
Yeah. Hi, CM. We know it.
Hey, Pro, speaking of nose, we moved off the makeup thing quite fast, but while we were doing that, I found this photo that I put up as my PTR of me doing makeup to do a tiny face. And in fact, that's just my nose.
Yeah, I can see it.
That's pretty funny.
That's actually kind of. Did you actually do it yourself? That's great work. Like the illusion. I mean.
Yeah,
it
my
pretty
husband got
fantastic, Victoria. I
It's a
appreciate
little bit of a
it. Thank
mind
you
fuck.
for sharing.
So we could do anything you wanted, Pro.
Wow.
Yeah. But Victoria, that's why I asked. I think it was just drowning in the waters. But I asked the question like, do you have like something that you can give a tip when it comes to exfoliating your skin? Like,
and you look like
if you see my profile picture, I wax my eyebrows. I go to a professional and color them and everything. So I'm already feminine, and people on Clubhouse have been calling me gay for like 4 years. So I'm actually interested because I am like.
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't. Yeah, you're well groomed. I think that's nice. People take care of themselves however they want to do that. I think that's great. I used to have I fell down the rabbit hole of a ton of different stuff to take care of my face and my skin in general, not just the face, but neck, arms, everything. And generally, I just have a gentle wash. I'll use a makeup remover that is oil based to take off that stuff. But I just use salicylic acid, which isn't an acid, but it's in a lot of different toners and such. And I sometimes will use them in pads that I can get. I don't use the same thing all the time because I don't have super sensitive skin, so I don't have to worry about that. So when I need something, I'll either buy what's on sale, or if somebody's recommended something, great, I'll try something new. If not, I'll go to an old standard. In fact, I have oxy pads that I use on occasion when I don't have something special around. And so after I wash my face, I'll use that salicylic acid and a pad. And then the key, I think, is a good moisturizer at night, a nice lotion or moisturizer in the day. But I don't even use a moisturizer in the morning because I always put on sunscreen, and that has moisturizing in it. So, but sunscreen is probably the biggest thing that I changed about 6-7 years ago. And I wear it every day. It's just part of my skincare. And I think that's really helped change my skin. So really, you need a cleanser, some sort of exfoliant a couple of times a week. And I do dermaplaning as well, which is like kind of shaving my whole face. And so if you shave, you're actually exfoliating every day, right? But to do the other parts of your face that you don't shave, you can either use something that is like one of those dermaplaning knives. I mean, you can get them on Amazon and stuff, and do the rest of your face, or just use some sort of liquid. But you don't have to be really harsh. What I found was a lot of friends who got into skincare during COVID went really hard on some stuff. And a lot of friends went really slow, and they come out with the same, after a year, they come out with the same changes, but, one had reactions to things and one didn't. So, I would just make sure that you have a routine. And the people who know me in here know that I am the sunscreen queen. Like I'll always say that's got to be the number one thing. Wash your face and put on sunscreen.
I think the key word is I need to start a routine. I need to like make it something that I do every day, like in the morning or evening, whatever. But yeah, I think that's the key word I will take from what you said.
Well,
and I also
here's what gets you into the routine is if you wash your face in the morning, again, not harsh, just a gentle wash, and you do nothing else but put sunscreen on, that's a good start because sunscreen is the most important thing to put on in the day. And then you want to wash the sunscreen off at night. I mean, I've sometimes gone to bed with sunscreen on because makeup on and don't have a reaction. But just sunscreen off and put a moisturizer on. And if you start just with that, just washing, sunscreen, washing, moisturizer, that's going to, be a good start. And then if you want to add in once or twice a week some sort of exfoliant, I'm sure Aisha has a few things to say on this too. But that's where I would start. Like I said, I love pampering myself, and so sometimes I'll say to my husband, "Do you need the bathroom? Because I'm going to be like half an hour, because I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the 10-step plan that I used to do because it feels good, it smells good, and the next day I can maybe it's placebo, I don't know, but I feel like my face looks a little plumper and nicer, right? But I also know I'm not going to do that every day, right? So anyway,
doesn't shaving encourage your facial hair to grow?
No,
not really. No.
It can sometimes feel like that because they all grow back, and they don't grow back with a little point at the end as if you've plucked them. They grow back and they feel thicker because they don't have the point because you've cut it off. But no, I've been dermaplaning. I've been dermaplaning for like 4 years now, and I had some peach fuzz around my jaws and closer to my ears that I couldn't figure out foundation or
couldn't get rid of it because you're a man.
Peach fuzz. And
couldn't get rid of the peach fuzz because I'm a man.
And so on occasion, I've gone like a month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks without doing it, so the fuzz grows in again. But because my skin is healthier and I don't wear as much makeup anymore because I don't have to hide my skin, it doesn't really bug me. But I now do it more for my skin than the peach fuzz.
One of these people from the Jewish faith.
I have to say, my personal preference, I like people
it's forbidden for them to actually create their own political state. I'm from the similar kind of background or sect that believe it is forbidden for the Shias or even for the Sunnis to actually make a political kind of government and govern ourselves, because if we rule in the name of religion, everything that we do is going to tarnish the name and the reputation of our religion. Because after all, like we're just human beings. We could make mistakes. We could oppress others in the process of actually getting to power or maintaining power. So if we do that in the name of our faith, all it's going to do, this is going to demolish the very perception of our faith. It's just like if you identify with any kind of brand, for example. So if let's say you
I think it's understandable. I don't think it's understandable. It's understandable. Yeah. So anyway? So are you spread out, dispersed among the people, or are you?
Yes, we are spread out because we believe at the end of times this is God's wisdom that because of all the tyranny that happens in the world, if we all stay in one place, it's easy for the devil or the bad people to just kill us all. So we by God's tradition, apparently we have to disperse on the planet, so less of us get killed or destroyed, so that the true message of our faith is preserved.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, quick question then: can the true Shias, right now, be some priests and rabbis?
not allowed in Islam. In fact, all the Muslims are encouraged to learn the religion and the jurisprudence and to acquire knowledge, so that knowledge is not centralized, it's decentralized, so that it cannot be taken advantage of. Whereas the priests in any religion, or even in Islam, unfortunately, they tend to encourage centralization of knowledge or jurisprudence. And in that way, if you centralize anything, you are only creating grounds for corruption, because if you centralize wealth or centralize power, that's going to corrupt the system, which is why in government or in political systems we have these separate, like the different three aspects of government are kind of separate and kind of not sovereign but independent, like judiciary, you know what I mean, right? Like the judiciary, the executive branch, and the lawmaking branch. They're all separate parts, because if the power of these three entities are concentrated into one entity, it could easily be corrupted.
All right, so I'm going to give you an example. Right? During the time of Jesus, he used the word, because the word begotten can mean it has different meanings, right? And I'll give you an example. There are Muslims and Jews like myself that I'm going to say we are cut from the same cloth. Even though he is a Jew, even though he is a Muslim, even though I am a Catholic, we are cut from the same cloth. So when I say this true message of God, right, can those people be distributed between all the faiths? So what you find to be the true message of God could also be a certain sect in Christianity and a certain sect in Judaism, and so on and so forth. Do you think that the Shia message is spread out like that, or you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so basically we believe in all like Abrahamic faiths, like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. There is one group which truly tends to follow the true message of their prophets. So basically, but they're a minority. They're always you have in the Quran. The majority is not condemned. And also the minority are usually the ones who actually are the people who think, who use their logic, who truly follow the teaching of their prophets. The majority is never, there's an analogy even, the 99% are not always going to, are not always taking the right path. The 1% normally know what's going on.
Oh my God.
The 1%ers would not
Where did you get them?
All pre-orders, man. Just when GameStop was still the biggest thing around, during that time, that's all it was. I would just get off of work and paid off my pre-order, paid off every couple of weeks. I finally get the system paid off, and then the night it dropped, midnight. There I was. For midnight releases. Every single one. My boy's gonna be 13, and he wants the new Xbox, and these are proud of him, but I'm gonna go proud of my son, so I'm gonna try and make his birthday the best I can.
I don't know where you were born in. Some of them are atheists.
It's down in it so hard right now.
And we don't know. So like Mojave, right? It's sort of like that sort of thing, right?
And I try to go off the eBay sales as well, just to see if there's
So he reveals himself.
that made the market go a little higher. But first, I think when I scanned them in, I was at 500. But since these are so clean, I have the 5 signs, which when they appear, came with the OES controller. So that's I've never seen that.
But you don't even know,
right? But just for collector's value, I'm gonna give you 600 flat today. I got something working. That's gonna work. Let's get you. I appreciate that.
And those can be identified with those 5 signs.
40, 60,
events which will take place. And these events are so incredible that no one can fake them. And because of that, this is how we can identify that he is the true Savior who is coming at the end of time.
So is he born into the world though?
Yes, he was born. He was born.
Okay, he was born into the world.
1,100 something years old. So he's that old. Like in terms of his age, he appears to be a man of 40 years old.
So I got a couple. They still got some yellowing going on.
Not too bad. A significant number.
I thought this was lineage.
It's because it is limited. It's so massive.
Not too bad.
It happens that his lineage, but it's not about his lineage, which gives him legitimacy. It's the fact that God appointed him as the leader or the imam who's going to lead the people into salvation.
Oh, so the lineage is not even
and
The lineage is known. His lineage goes back to
stuff like that. This island straight down, like they're going for the Philippines, and then at the end of it,
So
we'll be on the second drink
lineage
gas,
of
Saturn.
prophethood ends, the common lineage of prophethood ends, or is traced back to the prophet Abraham. So the Jews are the children of Isaac, who had a son called Jacob, and his sons were the 12 tribes of Israel. Jacob was also known as Israel, basically. And Muhammad was from the lineage of Ishmael, who was in Saudi Arabia by God commanded Abraham to take his wife Hagar or Hajar and Ishmael to that land and to leave them there. And Muhammad is from the lineage of Ishmael.
Muhammad of Ishmael.
And it's interesting because Mahdi is from the lineage of Prophet Muhammad, but his mother was a Christian princess, interestingly. So his father married a Christian princess who converted into the religion of Prophet Muhammad, and his father married her. And Mahdi was born when he was 5 years, and his birth was very much similar to the birth of Moses, because Moses was prophesied as the prophet who will overthrow the throne of Pharaoh, who was a tyrant. And Mahdi was also prophesied to be the person who will overthrow the throne of the tyrants of the time. So he was very much anticipated by the rulers of his time, and they were waiting for him. And no one can see by miracle. No one can see the signs of pregnancy in his mother. So he was born in secret, and
much
no
like
one.
Jesus, right?
Yeah, much like Jesus.
Much like Jesus. Now, can you tell my friends the Christian princess who gave birth to the Mahdi, who was from Rome? What's her name, Amir?
Her name was Nargis, or Narcissus, or Nargis.
Israel
is exactly her name.
could weaken the country itself, at least in their opinion. So, I mean, there's
Nargis is to Mahdi. Virgin Mary is to Jesus.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, what up?
Thank you. Interestingly,
What up, bro? I ain't shit.
Doing a lot of reading here on the side while you guys are talking. So turns out, lawmakers, according to studies, and we've discussed this before, dedicate 30 hours a week on the average to dialing for dollars. There's a study by Ohio State University, you can look it up, which says that members of Congress are unaware of what they're voting for because of the volume of bills that are presented, the length of the bills,
and the fact that they're dialing for dollars. I added that part. It's not part of the Ohio State study. So they rely on their party leadership to tell them how to vote.
Primarily their staffers, but party leadership comes into the most contentious issues. If you have a bad staffer, then you're not going to be prepared. If you have good staffing, then you'll be prepared for whatever hearing or bill you walk into. So yes, party leadership is important, but the quality of your staff is, I think, even more important than what leadership actually says, because it's the foundation by which you then go vote for things, right? I will agree there's a lot of bills and leadership does a lot of it sometimes. And particularly on our most contentious issues, I think. But again, I think staffing is, that's where you build the base before the leadership tells you what to do. So I think they're both important, but I think staffing is probably above leadership a little bit because of what the staff is.
Marshall is better than everybody else. You hear this shit?
And the second thing to consider is a study, I think goes back to 2015. You can find it very easily by typing in the authors' names. Martin Gilens, Gilens, at Princeton, and his co-researcher was William Page from Northwestern. So just type in Gilens and Page, and you'll find stories about, and maybe the actual study pop up in your browser. The conclusion of the study is, are you ready for this? And this goes against everything Marshall and I have been preaching here for so long. Ready for this one, Marshall?